While growing up, Trey Anthony didn't see any examples of self-care for Black women. She was taught to be strong when things got hard, and so she hid her own struggles in order to push through. Now, you might know her from the hit Canadian show To Kink in My Hair, but nowadays, Trey teaches other Black women how to prioritize well-being through her live show, Black Girl in Love with Herself. And Trey is joining us this morning. Good to see you.
Hey, Anne-Marie, thank you for having me.
Excited to talk about the show, and one of the themes in it, you talk about the strong Black woman stereotype and why it can be harmful. Can you explain that?
Yeah, I think for a lot of Black women, especially, we've been taught by our mothers and our grandmothers to just survive and get through it and get up. And in this book, I really talk about just trying to press through and also sit with your feelings and just say, you know what, this strong Black woman trope is actually really killing us and is actually detrimental to our well-being.
Trey, you face pressures to be strong, especially in the last 2 years. What made you realize that you had to yourself prioritize self-care?
For me, just before the pandemic started, I had adopted a brand new baby. I had ended a relationship, a long-term relationship.
Wow.
And I was just spiraling out of control. And my mother and my sister came to support me, and their advice that they gave to me was like, okay, come on, you can do this, you can do this. And as I talk about in the book, Black Girl in Love with Herself, there was a moment where I was like, you know what? I know this pep talk is needed, but this isn't what my soul actually needs. What I need from people right now is someone to say, you know what? This really sucks. This really hurts. And maybe you may want to cry about this and take a minute to yourself to actually feel what you're feeling. And it wasn't until I actually went to therapy that I was able to even acknowledge that I was going through a major depression because my family just didn't know what to do with me not being the strong Black woman at all times and getting through this.
What advice do you offer to other Black women who have a hard time putting themselves first as opposed to being the person who's always there supporting everybody else?
My advice is this, I think it was Ayanna Vincent who said, you got to put on your own oxygen mask first, right? You've got to realize that the only way you're going to be a good partner, a good wife, a good mother is if you are in the best stages of your own emotional and physical well-being. And that is something that I had to learn, especially being a new mom, because you get that lesson around, you know, you've got to be a martyr. You have to put your children first. But I say to women to really take a look at that and say that the person who has to be at the top of your list first is you.
You're in Toronto this weekend for your show called Black Girl in Love with Herself. What parts of yourself have you fallen in love with, Trey?
Oh my goodness, Anne-Marie, it's a continuous journey, right? It's never a final destination. Like you could ask me this question tomorrow and it may be something else, or it may be something like I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not in love with. But I think what I'm really in love with is my tenacity, my optimism, and my vulnerability, right? To tell the truth. The ugly parts, the parts that I'm embarrassed about, the parts that I'm still working through. And I think that's why women connect so much to the show and to this tour, is because they realize in my own authenticity and vulnerability that they are not alone. Because I'm saying, hey girl, I'm going through this too, right?
Yeah, because when there's more vulnerability from more people, that's where the strength comes from, right?
Exactly, right? Because I think what we need to know as women that we don't have to match up to the curated versions of everybody's lives on Instagram and Facebook. And it's about time we really just strip off and take off the mask and say, these are the things that I'm really going through as a Black woman, right? And there needs to be a level of truth in that truth telling so other women don't feel alone in it.
Trey, it is always great to hear from you. I wish you all the best of luck with the show. Thanks so much for coming on this morning.
Thank you so much for having me. You take care. Lovely seeing you.
Yeah, you too. And just a reminder, you can go and see Black Girl in Love with Herself July 31st and August 1st in Toronto.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.